the SLY Guy.
Oh. Hey, everybody. And I don't know what that was, but welcome once again to another episode of the SLY Guy podcast, brought to you in association with Snake Rat Productions and myself, Dave Elliott. How are we doing of this day? Evening, morning, whenever you listen to it. I don't know, how are you doing? Hopefully everybody is doing well, feeling good. I myself, I must say, I'm feeling a bit better than the last episode I recorded, which, by the way, was quite downbeat and different from usual. But I mean, sometimes in life you have to say things, sometimes you have to do things, and you know, the feedback's been great, so I appreciate that. Everyone's been in touch, thank you. And here, we're feeling better this week. Ben, are you feeling better this week?
Absolutely.
Nice. We're back on track. In fact, this week, I say there's been 2 podcasts out this week. We got a Tuesday episode, and now this episode is out on a Thursday. Then again, you could just be listening to these episodes whenever you want, at different times, intermittently. Who knows? It's up to you when you listen. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. And let's just get crack-a-lacking. It is a day full of different podcast chat for me today. I want to cover a lot of things. You know, as we're getting back to normal in the world, we're getting out and about again. You can eat food inside, which it's mental to say that that wasn't a thing for so long. Like, we got so acclimatized to the fact you couldn't just go and have a chippy inside a building. You know, you had to just have it out in the rain getting soaked. But now we're able to get inside. Ben, where's the first place you're going to go for some grub indoors? Is there a place you recommend, that you would say that's where I'm going for an indoor sit-down bit of grub? Maybe even a cold beer as well, you know?
I'd have to probably go to the Jamaican Inn.
The Jamaica Inn? You like listen, by the way, this podcast is not sponsored by the Jamaica Inn, but, you know, we do enjoy it as a restaurant, as somewhere to eat. What would be your sort of go-to order when you're there, Ben?
Probably a burger of some sort. Depending what mood I'm in.
You know what I like? The goujons. They do very nice goujons. I don't know how they do them, because they're very thin, but they're very tasty. And I think you actually get, I weighed it once, 17 kilograms worth of chicken goujons. So, I mean, if you're into a lot of chicken and you like a nice flavour, go to Jamaica Inn and get their chicken goujons. They also have a delicious selection of pints and stuff too. There are also another wild selection of great restaurants out there too that I enjoy as well as Jamaica Inn. I personally I like Pier 36 in Donaghadee. I like Grace Neil's in Donaghadee. I like the Esplanade. I like anywhere in the North Down Bangor region. I like, really, unless it's not a good place. There is a place that I went to not so long ago, during the last, you know, whenever they lifted it, where you could go out and eat a bit, and I went and I ate out in a place that I need to be careful how to say, because I don't want to slander somewhere, but I got a steak bap thing that looked really like, you know, steak baguette, and I thought to myself, this is going to be really nice, real lovely bits of, you know, steak, all juicy and delicious. I may as well just take my belt off and chew on it. You know, it was that, and I don't want to say what it was, but let's just say this place, it wasn't peppery, and it wasn't to do with cats. That's what I will say. And with that being said, not going to be rushing back, unless, of course, said place reaches out to me and says, Dave, come back and try us again. We've sacked the chef because he blagged it. He's like, that Southampton footballer that just emailed Southampton back in the day. I was like, I'm a professional footballer, hire me. And Southampton were like, sweet. Brought him in, played him in a Premier League game. We're like, this guy is completely shite. That's what I think this place should have done with a chef, someone that can actually cook. But here, we're not about slandering people on this podcast. Listen, it is a SLY Guy podcast. I do have my opinions, but seriously, the hospitality industry has been through the mill. So listen, I'm glad to see places back. I went into Knott's in Ards today, of all places, just to look and judge. Just to go in and see all the old folk. Because here's the thing I always say about old people. They like what they like. They don't sugarcoat things. And if you go into a restaurant and there's a lot of old people in it, you know you're going to get nice food. And that's the thing with Knott's. Went in there, saw a load of old people. And I nearly cried, and not because after the last podcast that I'm a downbeat emotional guy. I was just happy to see people in restaurants again. It was a nice thing to see people kind of back to normal again. And I mean, I do often when I see, I hate to use this phrase because it's patronizing, but when I see old people in the wild, I just get really emotional. I just love it. Like, unfortunately, I know people need to be vaccinated and they have to wear masks, but I have just this real overwhelming urge to just hug every old person I see. Like, I don't know what. Do you ever get that bad? You see an old person, you just want to take their wee skeletal hands and just rub it in your face and be like, I'm a little doggy and you're my master? No.
Sometimes, but a bit weird. Thought of you standing in front of a restaurant just sobbing to yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, people were probably like, is he crying because they don't have any burgers on today? And I was like, no, I'm just so happy to see. I mean, I'm going to just name old names. I'm just happy to see Cyril and Peggy and Ethel and Nell and Raymond. Just delighted to see all these fogies just sitting down with their dentures on the table, just sucking away at stew. You know, I just love to see it. There's nothing more I love than to look at a gummy pensioner sucking a spoon of stew. I love it. And that's what in my moment made me go, you know what? This is what life is about. Seeing pensioners sucking stew, that's what life is about. You know, people are like, what makes you happy? Like, what's your happy place? My happy place is standing in a Fogey's restaurant watching. And you know another thing old people eat? That if you're in a restaurant, if you're under the age of 70, you will never, as a dessert, pick a pavlova. You never will. If you're under the age of 70, you'll have say a chocolate brownie with ice cream, or you'll have like apple tart or something. But things you won't eat under the age of 70, trifle or pavlova. You just won't do it. Fogies, love it. Now, I don't know if that word, fogies, is inappropriate. Am I going to get cancelled? Like, you know, there's other words that describe other people in the community that begin with the letter F, which definitely would get you cancelled. But, you know, it's good to see the fogies. You know what else fogies love, Ben? Butterscotch. The flavour of butterscotch. And I don't know whether that's a thing. Is that a thing that when you get to a certain age, your tastes and things change? Like, I have definitely, and I mean, obviously, and like, there comes a point when you get old, when you're an old man, that you all of a sudden realise that just wearing normal clothes is no longer acceptable. You have to wear a sky blue short sleeve shirt with a tie. You have to wear trousers and shoes and carry a stick around at all times. Like, why not just be wearing a full Puma tracksuit, you know, really, and clogs. Not clogs. Crocs. I mean, yeah, keep the walking stick. Be gangster. You know, dress like Snoop Dogg. Dress like a pimp. Get a purple fedora, and then boom, you're set. Like, if I saw an old man wearing a full Puma tracksuit, a wee chain, a pimped out walking stick, and a purple fedora, just sucking stew with his golden dentures out, I'd think that's number one player. You know, that guy over there is a number, or else it's just James Brown back from the dead. Either way, it'd be a great sight, and then it would actually turn me from sobbing emotionally and uncontrollably to just laughing and sobbing tears of pure joy if I saw the reincarnated corpse of James Brown sucking stew in a restaurant in Newton Arts. It'd be top quality. But I mean, each their own. Like, I definitely think the older, like, say Ben, your wife's like, right, tonight's the night. Now, if you're under the age of maybe, what age are you, Ben? 30, right, perfect age. If you're under the age of 30, if you're in your 20s and your wife says, hey, tonight we're going to have a bit of fun, you think to yourself, hey, and this is another thing that somebody in their 30s, if you're in your 20s, you won't say this, but if you're in your 30s, you go, tonight's going to be a night for a little bit of slap and tickle. You don't say that when you're in your 20s. You're going, we're going to do some fucking. We're going to get down, we're doing some shagging, some fucking. We're going to get, oh yeah, balls deep in each other. And that's a weird thing to say when you're married to a wife. But hey, listen, pegging is something that we're open to in this podcast. But what I would say is, like, see, when you're in your 30s, Ben, a good night, is it a bit of slap and tickle? Or is it go to shop, maybe get some nice sweets, come back, watch a movie, go to bed early?
Absolutely, wee bottle of red wine.
Wee bottle of red wine, bingo. So you go to the shop, what's the sort of confectionery, what's the sweets you would get?
I don't really like sweets, I just go straight to popcorn.
popcorn. You like pop? See, that's the thing. I would be, and I've said before in the podcast, and I got a lot of abuse for this. I am a cinephile. I love to go to the movies. That's what I'm more excited about than anything opening up again, is the cinemas, to get in and just get a pick and mix, get a large Coke, and just have a nice time. But I have a friend who I always go to cinema with. He always gets popcorn, swears by it, wouldn't get anything else. To me, popcorn gets stuck in my teeth, makes my mouth all dry, sometimes I choke. And I mean, I prefer having pick and mix. But some people swear by popcorn. Are you a popcorn guy? Is that what you would?
Popcorn or the wee nachos you can get, the wee cheese dip.
So you're a savoury guy? Yeah, I like that. But for me, if I'm going to like a local garage or a shop for sweets, when I was younger, I maybe would have gone for like a crunchy or like a Whisper. Hit 30, bam, Turkish Delight and Fruit and Nut, nothing else. That's it, just Turkish Delight, Fruit and Nut all day long. And then drinks, like when you would probably go for like Coke or something like Sprite, something like. Now, I go for Dr. Pepper. A Dr. Pepper or a original Lucozade. That's how you know you're turning into an old guy. And then very soon, like rather than going and picking up coffee, I'll just pick up Ovaltine. And then I'll go and die in a fold. But that's definitely a thing where your flavours change. I don't know, how did I even start talking about flavours? Who knows, your tastes change as you get older. And that's maybe why when you're older you'll enjoy stew and butterscotch. So whenever you become in your 70s and you want a nice treat, you go and you get yourself a pack of Werther's Originals. And this is where I need to shout out to pedos and say, listen, you're not going to lure people under the age of 70 with Werther Originals. If you want to lure the kids, Kinder. It actually means child in German. Go for that. They can never say no to them. Not that I know because I'm not a paedophile, but, I'm just giving you a heads up, lads. Heads up. Don't be going for the Werthers. The butterscotch is not an under age of 70 thing, Again, see if there was an old man goes to me here, mate, do you like a bite of my Turkish Delight? I'd be like, absolutely. Bend over. Because obviously he's got his Turkish Delight in a little bag he has, and he needs to pick it out of that. I'm not going to eat his ass or anything because, obviously you could say Turkish Delight because it's like brownish on the outside and then the inside's pink and, lose your run of yourself a little bit. But listen, I'm excited we're getting back to normal. Ben, are you excited?
Very.
Great. And hopefully you are excited about some more stuff I have to talk about on the podcast this week. Wow. Just my wife texted me, just making sure that I don't have to go and let her in the house. She's not locked herself out this time. But I have another podcast, Ben. How does that make you feel?
Jealous.
Well, I have another podcast which is not on the same network that everything else is, not on the same network as the SLY Guy podcast or the Patreon. It is on BBC Sounds. It is a 6-part parenting podcast with myself and my co-host Shane Todd. Now, should he be giving parenting advice to anybody? No. But that's why we have the help of birthing and parenting expert Alex Creamer. And Alex is the one who corrects all our ill advice that we give. The podcast is called Dad Boys. It's on BBC Sounds. It's a great time. We have special guests on each episode. As you're listening to this, the episode 1 has just been out. It is starring ourselves and Danny Wallace, who is a comedian, an author, and a father. And the cool thing about Danny, unfortunately we didn't get to chat to him about this in the podcast. He is the man who wrote the book The Yes Man, which was of course made into the super successful Jim Carrey film, believe it or not, Ben, called Yes Man. So if you want to check that out, get over to BBC Sounds. Make sure you subscribe to Dad Boys. Again, this is only a 6-part kind of taster, if you will, a pilot of the series. So hopefully it goes well. If the downloads are good, it'll stay on BBC Sounds. We'll maybe get more episodes and it'll be a good time. So get over there. Some of the guests we have are great. We've spoken to Danny Wallace, we've spoken to Aaron Kraskell, we've spoken to Alan Davies, we have spoken to Jason Byrne. So we've spoken to some really good guests. Shane and I have offered some advice. Some of the guys have taken it on board, some of them haven't. Alex has come on and gone, you guys shouldn't have kids and phone and social services. But all in all, it's a good time and something that I'm pretty proud of. So guys, please check that out if you will. Also, we have other content on Patreon, Ben, too. We have, I think as of today of this recording, there are a bonus 66 extra podcast episodes. That's a lot. Maybe we'll do something special for the 100th episode, Ben. You know, maybe you might even get involved in the recording of it. We might do it somewhere special. You know, maybe by the end of this, we'll maybe do it in an old Fogey's restaurant, and maybe get a load of Fogeys with their dentures out, just sucking stew, maybe directly out of my hands. That might be nice. I have a dog now that I just feed food like this to. You know, he just comes over and he licks it out. Maybe I could just, you know, reach into a big pot of stew and just go out in the street and just shout, Fogeys! And then loads of pensioners will just come running at me and just lick stew directly out of my hands. That's the content people want. We'll do it. We'll make it so. But what we have done, Ben and I have sat like, has anyone ever described us as like the podcast equivalent of Dr. Dre and Eminem?
I think at least once.
Yes, at least once. Because we're in the studio coming up with ideas. Now, is this or is not this not an idea which I've done before? And it's definitely not an original idea because it's generally something I tried before. But people have been in touch. People have said, Dave, you need to do this. You need to bring back the Champions League of Weird.
The Champions League of Weird.
And what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a wee minute so the theme song can play. Okay, so you can hear what it is. But we're going to do the Champions League of Weird officially and exclusively over on Patreon. So if you get over to the Patreon, SLY Guy Podcast, subscribe to that, you get it over there. It'll be a good time. So what we're going to do today on the regular podcast is do the draw, Ben, for the Champions League of Weird. Now what you need to do is, can you do some maths really quick in your head?
No, but go ahead.
32
Yeah,
divided by 4 is 8. Am I right in saying?
correct.
Yes. So there are going to be 8 groups of weird people, 4 in each group, and then we're going to basically do it like the Champions League, but of just weird celebrities. So now I'm going to do a draw. Ben, I need you to get up 8 groups, please, and you need to put people in the group, and then we're just going to do it like that. So what we have here are 32 names of weird, eccentric, well-known celebrities or people from entertainment who have maybe got some interesting backstory. And what we will do is we'll put them up against each other. We'll have a scoring chart. Then it'll be a knockout stage, and eventually we will declare the champion of weird for this year. Which, by the way, if we do it again, if it's a success, the same people could still be involved in it. But hey, you don't know who they come up against. It could be a different winner each time. So Ben, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do 8 groups.
Yep.
And then we're going to do one person from each group first, all right? So we're not just doing group at a time. We're going to do, you know.
Yep.
So tell me when you're ready.
Ready?
So the first name coming out of the Champions League of Weird going into Group 1 is... It's Ben's mum. No, I'm joking. It's not. It is none other than thespian extraordinaire, Nicolas Cage. There we have Nicolas Cage is the first name out of Champions League Weird. We'll bounce on again, trying to get this, because this could take hours. So we'll just whip through it. Group 2, the first name in Group 2 is... Michael Jackson. Going to be hard to beat. An early favourite with the bookmakers there. People are probably going, he's dead. I'm like, yes, but his weird legacy lives on. There's plenty of weird things we can talk about. That guy puts masks on his kids and dangles them out windows. Shimona. Group 3, first name is... I'll give you a clue. The first 2 letters of her name, one of your favourite pastimes with your mates. BJ, Ork. It's Bjork. In Group 3, and now for the first name in Group 4, Jared Leto, but I spelt his name wrong and I'd scribble it out because I actually wrote Jacqueline, as in Jacqueline Phoenix, but Jared Leto's weirder, so he got in first. So there we go. What are we on now? Group 5?
Yep.
First name in Group 5, Kane Lim. Not a lot of people know Kane Lim. He is from the TV show Bling Empire. Very creme fraiche, very sweet guy. Looking forward to doing that. What's the group now, Ben?
6.
Group 6. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bit of R. Kelly. Group 6, people are probably like, definitely don't have R. Kelly. cancelled guy. Hey, Champions League are weird. You can be cancelled. You're still weird. Group 6, 7.
7.
Guess it is. Do it right. 7.
Come on.
It's David Blaine. Magician and freak. Group 8, this completes the first round of the draw of the Champions League of Weird. And the final name is, hey, everybody's favourite guy who wanked himself to death in a wardrobe. Shane Nowitz, David Carradine. There we go, that completes the first round. So we've got 8 names out there, Ben.
Yep.
Get a wee shake up. Going back to Group 1 now. Second name in Group 1 is... It's very exciting. I'm sure this is grade A podcast content here. It's Charlie Sheen. Group 2. Vinny O. People are going to like Vinny O, by the way. Trust me on this. Had to do a bit of research myself. Group 3. He bent spoons. It's Uri Geller. A major shout out to him. He's obviously got a vested interest in the new series of Friends coming out to see his children, Ross and Monica. What's Group 4? Yep. The Bride of Frankenstein, Plastic Face, Jocelyn Wildenstein. Get her in there. Next one we have. His brother was good at football. He has big ears. Wayne Lineker. Love it. Where are we now?
6.
Group 6. Friend of the show. Idol of many. Ben's got his photos on his wall. Is Lil Nas X. Oh, weird legend. Liberace. Get him in there. What are we on now?
8.
Dark horse. Could be a wee bit like Porto in the Champions League. And was it 2013 they won it? Steven Seagal. Very weird guy. Back to Group A. We're getting there. Group 1, sorry. Listen, it's a weird Champions League of weird. You can do and say whatever you want. Oh, here. The only local guy on the list. He is the 4th member of the girl band The Corrs. Jim Corr. Family friend, by the way, but he's cool about it. Where are we now? Group 2. The man known affectionately as the human Ken doll has actually transitioned and is now a female, so I don't want to use his dead name here, so I'll maybe Google that to make sure it don't cause any offence. But listen, the human Ken doll is now known by the name Jessica Alves. Even though dead named him there, Rodrigo, just found out that he had transitioned after that. So I feel SLY. What group are you on now?
3.
Your favourite actor? Shia LaBeouf. Muck them up a little bit there. By the way, people thought I was looking in there. I can't see. They're all screwed up. I was just making sure.
Oh, hated or anything? No.
No, not at all. Stalking cat. Who's in the group? Stalking cat?
Jared Leto and Justin Goldstein.
Oh, Justin Windelstein and Stalking Cat, 2 surgery kings. They will have a really great match. That's going to be one of the matches of the round. Are we on third people now? Ready?
Yeah.
Group 5.
Yeah.
Come on, go get yourself some fried fish. Madonna lost her on herself during lockdown. Fair play. Next group, Ben.
6.
Lauren Harris, antique expert, celebrity Big Brother star, naked attraction star. Very enjoyable. Very weird. Where are we now?
7.
Ben, why have I got a selection of your favourite actors? It's Wesley Snipes. Boom. See where we're at now. Now another person, people will be like, Dave, don't have this guy in it. He's not funny. He's not very nice. But hey, we're not caring about their behaviour, apart from if they're weird. Marilyn Manson, aka Mas Manson, to his friends. Right, what are we on now?
Last one in Group 1.
The last name to complete Group 1 is your favourite baller, Dennis Rodman. I wonder if he'll come up against his ex, Madonna, at some stage. Who knows? We'll find out. It's Andy Dick. Your favourite child star? Macaulay Culkin. By the way, if you don't like this actual content, by the way, I hope you enjoy the effort we've gone to make this particular content. Rap star Riff Raff, as opposed to his cousin Paddy Raff, who's a comedian from Northern Ireland. Let me see. We have, again, listen, we've listed who we said your favourite actors are. Nicolas Cage, Wesley Snipes. Your numero uno, who you describe as Bay, Kevin Spacey. What are we on now?
6.
Another dark horse and another child star, Corey Feldman. Go for that. And 6. So we've 2 left. Let me make sure I haven't. There we go. Inside the hat. Nothing else. 2 left. Should we wish these round and make it a wee bit exciting? Which hand do you want, Ben?
Right.
My right?
You're right.
Okay. My right hand, you've gone for Gwyneth Paltrow. And then to complete the Champions League weird group stages, the final name into Group 8 is... It's a double header. It's a team you mentioned. The Smith children, Willow and Jaden Smith. So there we have the group stages drawn of the Champions League of Weird. This is going to be a labour of love that will be exclusively on Patreon. We will look at each person at great detail, explain to you why they're weird, what merits a weird person, how they go head to head, who will get the most points, and who will get together. So Ben, can you turn it around? I'll read out the groups so everybody knows.
I'll email it to you. Give it 2 days.
No problem. We can get the email up. I will read the group stages of the Champions League of Weird. This is the sort of content we love. You know, it's no longer the Weird podcast. It's the Sly Guy podcast, but we still don't forget our roots. That's one thing Ben always says to me. I never forget a root. And I'm the same. I love to remember where I've come from. I respect where I've been. And sometimes in life, it's not who you know. It's the things you've seen. I just made that up. It makes no sense. But it works well. I getting on with the email over there, Ben Johnny?
Tidying this up.
Very nice. I will indeed. What I'm doing now is just replying to my wife. She just told me you're going to be home late tonight. I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I'm out having the time of my life. Let me see. Again, this is how ridiculous I am. I'm just checking that my wee doggy's in bed because I care about him so much now. And people are probably wanting to know what my dog looks like. Ben, do you want to stick a photo of him up here? Look, there's my dog. Really sweet, isn't he? Very beautiful. Beautiful young animal. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know why I sounded like a weird creep guy there. There we have it. And what else should we do while you send me that email over there? Yeah, other stuff we have on Patreon. 66 bonus episodes of the podcast, which is kind of just like this, only more driven by patrons' questions. So we like to say that, I like to basically do a wee brief introduction to what's going on in the podcast and then kind of just answer your questions. So it is a bit different, a bit more fun, and people like it over there. So if you want to be a Patreon, please subscribe. It's a good time, and hopefully, if you are a patron, there's 2 tiers you can get. You get access to everything for £4 a month, or if you want to spend £2 a month, you get just solely the bonus podcast on that. So, there you have it.
On your phone.
It's on my phone.
Yep.
Did you not email it to me?
No.
Wow, what even is that? So here we are, completed group stages of the Champions League of Weird. Group 1, Nicolas Cage, Charlie Sheen, Jim Core, Dennis Rodman. Early competitor for the Group of Death. Group 2, Michael Jackson, Vinny O, Jessica Alves and Andy Dick. Another great group. Group 3, Bjork, Uri Geller, Shia LaBeouf and Macaulay Culkin. That's the group of just weird names. Basically, Group 4, Jared Leto, Jocelyn Windelstein, Stalking Cat, and Riff Raff. I mean, these groups are great. Group 5, Kane Lim, Wayne Lineker, Madonna, and Kevin Spacey, who Ben has decided has changed gender and just written Karen Spacey here, but I like that. We also have the battle of the weird rap names: R. Kelly, Lil Nas X, Lauren Harris, and Corey Feldman. I mean, that's going to be a tough group to get out of. Group 7, David Blaine, Liberace, Wesley Snipes, and Gwyneth Paltrow. And Group 8, David Carradine, Steven Seagal, Marilyn Manson, and the Smith Children. You know what, Ben? That is the elite of weird. People, whoever qualifies from those groups, let alone wins, should probably be referred to services. But listen, we're going to have a nice time, and that's what's going to be exclusively over on the Patreon. And speaking of which, Ulster Hall tickets are still up for sale. If you want to come and see me in the Ulster Hall on the 17th of December, please get your tickets. The link is in the description of the podcast. It's also on the bio of all my social media. So please come and see me. It's going to be a nice time. I said on the last podcast, when I lost the run on myself a little bit, that I'd try and suck my own dick on stage if I sell it out. Here, it is what it is. Aim high, shoot for the stars. And if you sell out a big show, suck your own dick. It's really the motto that I'm living my life by. So, please do that. The tickets are selling well. There's 6 months to go, and I'm really chuffed with myself. So, hopefully you'll be chuffed with me too. And guys, the podcast, as always, is brought to you by Bebe Adrianos Mexicanos. This is a multi-award-winning burrito bar in the high street in Bangor. You can get burritos, burrito bowls, you can get fajitas, and if you're a physique guy like me, you can get salads. It caters for everything. If you're on a diet or if you're not, your food you're going to get is delicious. You can choose from any other fillings such as vegetarian, chili con carne, chicken, beef, or pulled pork, or tomato, sweet corn salsa verde, or habanero salsa to go with that. They have a delicious range of box meals. They have their signature box meal, the Dirt Box, which is half chips, half rice, chicken, chili con carne, beef, pulled pork, peppers and onions, tomato salsa, sweet corn salsa, and a cheese sauce of your choice. And of course, the podcast's favourite box, the Dirty Cock and Cow box, which of course is chicken and beef, marinated, fries, sweet potato fries, peppers, onions, tomato and corn salsa, lettuce, and a sauce of your choice. Which, if I'm getting a Dirty Cock and Cow, if I want something in my Dirty Cock, I pour on it, Ben? And also baby oil, but we'll not worry about that. I'll not put that on the meal itself. But yeah, smoked paprika is my sauce of choice. If you're looking 10% off your first order, get on the Bebe Adrianos app. And for the first time, you can get that. You can also, if you want to be traditional, you want to phone them and tell them Davey sent you, pick up the phone and dial 02891 47 99 88. That's 02891 47 99 88. Say Davey sent you. Not only do they have delicious box meals, burritos, bowls, salads, they also have a new lunch menu. And now in a lunch menu, for £8, you can get either a 10-inch burrito and a can, chili chicken fries in a can, or poppin' chicken wrap and a can. That's all Bebe Adrianos at 9 to 11 High Street, Bangor. Get them on their bespoke app for 10% off, or ring them 028 91 47 9988. Bebe Adrianos, say Davey sent you, and you will not regret it. The podcast is also brought to you in association with Manscaped. Father's Day is just around the corner, and nothing says I love you, Dad, more than a world-class trimmer for his balls. Forget the cards, forget the chocolates, forget everything. Get your dad the Lawnmower 3.0 and make sure your mum is not spitting fur balls. I can't believe I said that. Anyway, Manscaped's the best body hair trimmer in the market and offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. You can get 20% off and free shipping if you use the code SLYGUY at manscaped.com. That's all capitals, SLYGUY at manscaped.com. Manscaped's the only brand dedicated to below the belt grooming, and we've just launched the Performance Package, which is the perfect gift, as I said, for Father's Day. Your balls will thank you. It says so in the box, and your dad will thank you when he has no pubes on his man box. And also, if you want to get rid of the nose hair, which inevitably your dad will have because he's a dad, nose hair, ear hair, use the Weed Whacker as well. That is the perfect way to remove hair from your nose and ear and feel dope as fuck on Father's Day. And you can also get delicious moist accompanying products to keep your balls feeling smooth and silky soft. Of course, the liquid formulations are the crop preserver and the ball deodorant, the crop reviver ball toner to maximize your ball hygiene. Once again, if you want to get 20% off and free shipping, use the code SLYGUY at manscaped.com. That's SLYGUY at manscaped.com. The podcast is also always brought to you in association with Modest Beer. Modest are an independent brewery crafting small batch beers for discerning drinkers. Now, Modest don't have a goal to take over the craft beer market. No, they just want to add to it with a brand that is delicious, joyous, responsible, honest, and most of all, modest. If you're keen to know more, contact Modest Beer on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Modest Beer, or on www.modestbeer.co.uk to find your nearest stockist. If you're going to have a cool can of Modest Beer to enjoy your weekend, tag me in it. I'll share it out there. We'll get the word out there. Support local, support delicious, support Modest. Let's go into listeners' questions. How long have we been talking for, Ben? I feel like it's been too long.
35.
35? Where would you get it, Ben?
Apple Music.
Yeah, or probably Spotify or SoundCloud, but on this podcast was the answer. And YouTube, by the way. I don't think we plug the YouTube enough. See this, if you're listening to this audio and you think this sounds really good, imagine looking at my gorgeous face, Ben. You get to see my face live in the flesh. You watch it back plenty of times as well, just to make sure your eyes don't deceive you. And this is, Manscaped does present the perfect package, but this is in human form, the Adonis for the eyes. So if you want to see me, get over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. People are getting over there, subscribing. The views are going up. Again, it's slower than the actual audio, but, you know, in terms of a setup, this is the setup you want in the podcast. You've seen me on other podcasts killing it, so come and join this podcast, listen to it, see the sponsors first off, see my wee LED light. You know what I like to do with this as well is like use it to look at my balls. It's like blind people in cars driving past. And then I've got my burritos. I'm set up. I'm hooked up. Get on YouTube, subscribe. Dave Elliott, Sly Guy Podcast. However you find it, go for it. John Joe Flood has said, not a story, Dave. Just how are you? And I like that, you know, because obviously last podcast I was kind of talking about being down, struggling a bit with the mental health. But this time I'm feeling better. You know, I'm excited. I'm talking about pensioners sucking stew. I'm just overall feeling good. You know, things are getting more back to normal. I'm advanced in how I'm feeling. I mean, I don't know if that's a phrase, but I mean I've come further. You know, from feeling shit to feeling good. And that's kind of where we're at. The Champions League of Weird is going to happen. So what's not to love about that? But yes, thank you very much, John Joe. It means a lot for you to be inquiring of me. And by the way, my check-in will be good this week, so I'm sorry I've been a bit, you know, off the ball, having a mental breakdown. But I'm better. Paul Doherty said, hi, hope all's well. My question is, when is it too old to still be known by your nickname? Well, I think it fully depends on what your nickname is. Like, people could technically say my nickname is Dave because, I mean, Ben, get some sort of clanger on this, get some sort of exclusive, get like a horn noise, you make all the fuss you can. I'm going to give an exclusive in the podcast. My name's not really Dave. My actual name, Ben, do you want to guess what it is?
Barry.
David. Dave is but a nickname and a stage name. I'm actually really David. This is what the podcast should be called. Really Dave. I'm a liar. My name's not Dave, it's David. All right. On my birth certificate it says David. On my driving license it said David. When I get into trouble, my name is David. But when I'm a fucking rude boy, funny ass motherfucker, my name's Dave. So there you go. Major announcement. That's probably the biggest announcement yet. And I actually literally announced my Ulster Hall show on this podcast. But yet, my real name. And by the way, Ben, can we pretend this is a wee Men in Black thing? You've forgotten that information. Dave. Okay. In fact, Ben, can you do a wee post edit to make it look like a wee Men in Black thing? Hold on, let me just go. Pyong. Ben, do it. Pyong, 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 pyong. I want that to be every time. Pyong, a wee light. Enjoy the edit. Michael Kerr said, hey, Dad, are you still pumping that iron? Now, I mean, having discussed what we discussed during the Manscaped reads about Father's Day and shagging, I could make a joke about that. But what I'm going to say is I've been slacking on the working out because of the mental breakdown, crashed my car, and I'm sore. But here, I'm ready to get back to it. Now we're sort of going to be doing stand up again soon, and let me just check, is that confirmed? Nope. I'm waiting on an announcement. I'm waiting on an announcement for a stand up gig, basically. That's not come through yet, so hopefully there will be a stand up gig very soon, as in potentially this weekend. Very exciting. But yeah, I need to start working out if I'm going to be in front of people again, rather than just sitting in my pajamas in my hot press. My Chris Bate has said, "Hi Dave, how about a gig down at Daft Eddie's? Can we make that happen?" I mean, I'd be all for that. At the minute I would do a gig, I think, anywhere. I'm just excited to get back doing stand up again. But yeah, Daft Eddie's is a great spot. Once again, nice food. I'm recommending all these places right now. If you want to sponsor the podcast, people, get in touch. We're more than welcome to get additional sponsors on the podcast. Ben is looking to get some surgery on his face because apparently there is what did you say it was, like a triad gang looking to extort money out of you, and he needs to look different. I don't know. The guy's always up to fucking something. So yeah, I mean, we're up for any sponsors we can get. Stephen Rogers said, "Big time Guinness hangover this morning. Watched this story and it nearly brought a tear to my eye." Stevie has sent me a video of some guy on a bike just going along the coastal path, and it's made him emotional because he's out there in Canada. So big shout out to you, Stevie. Not a good thing to be on the Guinness, with a hangover and missing home. What I'd say to you need to do, you need to go out in Canada, go to Stu Hart's dungeon, do some wrestling, eat some maple syrup, maybe pour some maple syrup on another wrestler and lick it off his body. It'll make you feel really good. Johnny Maxwell has just come out and said, "What's the deal with Stephen Nolan?" I mean, where do you start? Like, Stevie isn't Stephen Nolan a bit of an enigma, Ben, would you say? He is an individual. He's a man who has probably a hairstyle that's not suitable for a man of his age. To be fair, he shaves it too much at the side and lets it flop around a bit. I'd probably try and, have a haircut more my age if I was Stephen. He's actually threw a bit of dye in it this week, which is also a bit weird, but fair play if it makes him feel better and of himself. But yeah, I mean, Stephen Nolan, as much as people criticize him, he does exactly what people want him to do in his job. So I mean, as long as he still gets the big numbers in the show, gets the ratings, he can do what he wants. He's a boss dog. He's a playboy. He's a top broadcaster in his country, and as much as he polarizes the audience, you gotta respect him. He's a good guy, and there are some stories you'd love to see him cover more than others, but people seem to react to whatever it is he does. So big respect to Stephen Nolan. Come on the show, sponsor the podcast. I appreciate you. I mean, has anyone ever said that before, Ben? Like, look down the camera like this and gone, "Stephen Nolan, I appreciate you." Make that a clip, Ben, so I can just tag him. "Stephen Nolan, I appreciate you." Naomi Mitchell has said, "Oh no, hopefully there's no other YouTube links." She sent me a link to YouTube, Ben. I don't know if I can get this up. Hey. Said that before, haven't I? Hey! Oh no, it's Naomi. Why have you sent me this? I can't say these words; they're inappropriate. What she has sent me is a video that, believe it or not, I have seen, and it's entire. It's. I think what we will say is little people having a physical altercation on the Jerry Springer show. But the whole Jerry Springer show has been called something, based on this, which is inappropriate. I mean, it is. I mean, they're having a fight now. There's a little person doing a naked pole dance. I mean, if this was on TV nowadays, it would definitely be something. But Naomi, please go back to sending me stories about pensioners having sex or whatever, because this particular video is too much for me. Joe Canavan has said, "Why is Paddy Raff not in the comedians group chat? Is he an enigma or is he a plagiarist?" Well, I mean, he's maybe a lot of things. Obviously, he's doing very well for himself. Fair play to him for that. But of course, he was associated with a, anonymous website, social media account, which gave a lot of grief to a lot of local comedians who are trying to just, earn a living and make people laugh. So, I mean, I think it's kind of ironic, that maybe some people are like, oh, he's not in the group. Well, because his group that he's involved in slabbered at us all for years. So, I mean, here, it is what it is. Good luck to him. I wish him well. Michael Waffleman. Now, Michael, I know you're a man who makes waffles. Please tell me that your name is Waffleman. Please tell me that you were born to make waffles. Like, your name is a destiny thing. You're a waffle man and you make delicious waffles. And now the question you ask hopefully has nothing to do with your making of waffles, but it is, are farts funny or disgusting? You know what? It could be. I think, to be fair, Ben, when was the last time you laughed at a fart?
Probably a couple of days ago.
And whose fart was it?
My daughter's.
Your daughter's? Yeah, well, I have laughed at 2 farts this week, like hysterically laugh. One was my daughter doing a fart. She walked up to my wife and turned around, did a wee dance and did a fart, and then just went, I farted in your face, and ran away. And I thought that was really funny. It was one of those moments, where you have to try and discipline the children and be like, that's rude, don't do that, but when really you're dying inside. And then the other one was just sitting in my living room with the dog on the floor, and he was just lying there like playing with like a chew toy, and he just went, I was like, how does the dog even fart like that? But his farts, by the way, they sound funny, but they absolutely stink. And then what's weird, I don't know if it's worthwhile saying this out loud or not, but do you ever find, Ben, that your farts smell like your dog's? No, I don't know whether me and my dog, it's the fact that we're eating the same food from the same, dog bag at the minute, but like I have definitely done farts recently that smell like his farts, and it's made me panic. And then I don't know, are we just bum brothers? Like, our bums just smell the same. We hang out so much, we're in the same environment that our farts just smell the same. I don't know, but what I do want to say is I love Ben. Put a photo of my dog. I love him. Thank you. Shane McMullen has said, what's the best mug off you've seen on somebody else? I mean, this is a tough question that I would probably, if I actually sat down and thought about a mug off, it would probably, be something I could really think of. But that is a hard question. Off the top of my head, I can't actually think of a mug off that was one of the best that I've seen on somebody else. But let me think about that. Remind me on Patreon, because I can sit and think for longer. So I will answer that, but I need to really think about it, because I've seen plenty of mug offs and I need to think of the best one. It's hard to just narrow it down off the top of my head. And Wormball to finish has said, as we push to end gay conversion therapy, what types of people can we introduce conversion therapy for? Can I suggest anti-vaxxers who are partial to the odd white line? You know what? I think, I mean, I probably shouldn't. You shouldn't dislike anybody if you don't know them, I think. Again, one thing I'm very guilty for is seeing somebody, just to look at them and going, I hate that person. I'm very open to admit it, that more often than not I like. For example, when I was walking down to the beach the other day in the evening time with the dog, again, Ben, before my dog up, I love him, love that dog. I just saw a load of kids in the North Face gear. I've spoken about this before in the podcast. Like, you can't tell the difference between a good boy and a bad boy now, because they all just wear the same gear. Like, in my day, you had to put a pair of brown shoes on, jeans and a shirt to go out and try to pull girls. Nowadays, these fuck boys are just wearing tracksuit, but they look like tramps. Albeit their gear probably costs like 300 quid all in, but they all look the same. Kids all dress the same nowadays. Those haircuts, all shaved, and then just shaved to the back and sides, and then just flumped on. Fucking comb your hair. See, if I was in your school, I'd be marking your uniform card. I'd probably still get arrested, because they'd be like, why are you a full 34-year-old man in a school with kids? And I'd be like, because I'm coming here to discipline them. I'm coming here to teach these naughty boys a lesson. People would be like, it's probably not something you should say out loud, Dave. But yeah, I think definitely those wee fuckers need to get conversion therapy into being normal people. And also anti-vaxxers. And another thing, I lost a run on my point there. My point being, see people that wear those I don't have to wear a mask lanyards. Can't help them. Just fucking wear a mask. There's no health condition I can think of other than being a twat that means you don't wear a mask. Now, if people disagree with that, you know what they can do, Ben? put a bit of Vaseline in your a-hole and swivel on that, all right? And I think that's a good point to end the episode. It's been fun. It's been good. How long have we been talking for, Ben?
49.
49? What else do you want? Guys, buy tickets to my Ulster Hall show. Support. I nearly said buy tickets to my Ulster Hall show. Support the cause, whatever the cause is. I mean, of me selling out that show is what the cause is. Definitely don't support any like paramilitary cause because, hey, illegal. Report to the PSNI, if anything. Subscribe to Patreon, buy Manscaped, go to Bebe Adrianos, drink a modest beer. Have a good week. I'll be back next week. Thanks again for everyone for your messages of support when I was feeling a bit shit. I do appreciate it. And hopefully in return you enjoy this podcast. God bless, Godspeed, take care of yourselves, and don't wear a lanyard that says you don't need to wear a mask. Bye.
I'm the sly guy.